All right, welcome back to What the Puck podcast on Nelson Sports Network. We are done with the first round. We're on to the second round in the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs, and it's been a real good one. Had a lot of good series here in the first round. Couple surprise series. We had one that went Game 7, I believe. Just one, but a lot of Game 6s around the first round.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of potential Game 7s that could have definitely gone. A lot of Game 6s. Only one that had to go to 7.
Yeah, only one. That's kind of odd. Usually we see at least 2 or 3 in the first round, but like you said, a lot of Game 6s, man. A lot of really good series. We had 2 sweeps, which we kind of thought that was going to happen, so we're not surprised there. But it was a pretty good first round. I was pretty thrilled with what we saw so far, and I think we got a lot of good matchups here in the second round as well. So, what do you think about the second round? Just kind of in a general aspect here before we get into it.
I think the second round is honestly going to be exactly what we've talked about all year. The NHL is going to really have its Central Division shine. I think the Wild and the Avs is going to be a slugfest.
Yeah,
I honestly think that. I mean, the Stars and Wild was a great series to watch, so I think this Avs and Wild series is going to be a really good series. I think this is probably going to be the only fit that I can see. The only team that could give Colorado fits is going to be the Wild. I just think they match up very, very well against them. I think this, like watching, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I feel like this Ducks team is just too young if they do get to that point. If the Golden Knights end up getting there, I just feel like Colorado has got that veteran leadership, and I feel like Vegas is going to be outmanned and outgunned. I feel like this Wild team has played them very well all season long. They've had to be in the Central Division where they constantly have been competing with them. So I think this is going to be honestly the make or break for the Avs right now. The East, honestly, that's wide open right now. I think there's two teams that are going to be head over heels. I think it's either the Canes here or the Sabres here. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just think all the other teams are just too young. But we can get into that here as we go.
Yeah, I think we've got some really good matchups. I agree with you on the whole Central thing. It's going to be a really intense series there with Colorado and Minnesota. But like we said in the last episode, going to be a new Stanley Cup champion this year with the Panthers being out of it. So that's always exciting to see a new team win. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into this first round recap. First series we had was on the east side. We had Carolina Hurricanes versus the Ottawa Senators. This was one of the sweeps.
I thought this was going to be more of a dogfight than it was.
I kind of did too.
I was surprised how Ottawa just kind of laid down and let this thing happen. I thought they were going to have a little bit more tenacity, and not to say that they laid down and let this happen. I mean, they just got outplayed, but it really felt like there was no other flip or of a switch that they could muster out of their own team. I mean, you're talking about starting the game one with a fight, trying to get your team going, and nothing worked for them. There was no getting extra juice out of your locker room. There was no nothing. It was just, I honestly think it's one of those, it's either they make the finals or bust years for the Canes, and they're not putting up with anybody's BS. They're just here to win it all. They don't care how they have to do it. They're just going to win every game as fast as possible.
Yeah, and this was one of those series where it was just from start to finish, it was dominant. I mean, the Hurricanes never trailed in the series. All 4 games, they never trailed. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, heck, even the overtime games that they had to go to, and they score and they win a game, and then it's offsides, and then they got to go and score again. I mean, that happened twice, and both teams ended up scoring first, and then they go ahead and, all right, well, we're going to put the dagger in later on in the game after it got called off in overtime. I mean, that was just crazy.
Yeah, and I thought Frederik Andersen had a really good series. He really shook off some of the shaky things he had going on during the regular season. He actually led all playoff goalies to this point with 5.22 goals saved above average. I mean, he was just a brick wall back there, man. He couldn't get anything by him. The second line for Carolina was really, really good. Taylor Hall and Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake, they played absolutely lights out, man. They had such a good series. But I I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I thought the Senators would at least get one, maybe 2 games here. I figured Carolina would win this one, but I thought, we'll probably see 5 or 6 games here. But man, they just steamrolled right through them. It was an impressive.
I thought
series.
there was going to be more fight from Ottawa. I definitely did. I'm with you. I thought it was going to be maybe a gentleman's sweep at most, not going for, not a full sweep. I thought this was going to go to a game 6. I did have the Canes winning this one, but I just am surprised with how, like you said, he was a brick wall back there. I don't know if Brind'Amour put on the pads again or what, but something happened that changed completely, and this team is just firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah. Let's move over to this next one, and I think you owe some people an apology here, Trenton. This one, Philadelphia Flyers and Pittsburgh Penguins. Philly ended up winning this one 4-2. And I do recall you saying something about Philly in the first round.
I still think Philly sucks. I do. I just feel like they're young, they're a youthful team. Congratulations, you beat the Penguins, but I don't know. I feel like you guys still are going to get manhandled this next series that you guys have. You beat the Penguins, okay? I thought the Penguins were going to be better than they were because of the veteran leadership. But Skinner's still Skinnered, and he sucks. So congratulations, you sucked less than Skinner.
This was a really fun rivalry. This is one of those classic rivalry series, cross-state rivals. I mean, Philly and Pittsburgh. Well, you can't go wrong with that in the playoffs. So, one thing that did kind of stick out to me, Philly jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and it looked like, man, they're gonna sweep them. Like, this is actually not the way I predicted it at all. I had Philly winning this series, but not 4-0. Then Pittsburgh kind of started to storm back, man. They won 2 in a row, and it was kind of like, uh-oh.
Well, even the last game that the Phillies won, I mean, it felt like the Pittsburgh Penguins were on top of that one. And
it was
the Flyers just happened to get the extra goal in to clinch the game up. It was a 0-0 game. So it was,
I was going to say, it went to overtime. It was 0-0.
A boring game, but the one goal ends up going in, and it ends the Penguins right there. It looked like the Penguins were going to do the impossible and go, okay, well, 3-0. We're not scared of that. We'll go ahead and beat you 4-3. Whatever.
Well, and I mean, this was kind of one of those. This feels like one of those magical playoff runs. Like they were the underdog just to get into the playoffs. So, the sucker punch incident in Game 4 that really added fuel to the fire. But the Flyers
throwing the Penguin mascot off the second story. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
Right now, the Flyers kind of have that team of destiny feel. So I think they're dangerous to count out right now. In hockey, that is a big thing, man. Some teams come out of nowhere and they make a really long run into the playoffs, sometimes win it all. So I think this team is really young. I agree with you. They are a young team, but they're really showing that they deserve that spot to get in. I mean, they got through the first round, and now we'll see how they do in the second round. But it was a fun series. Honestly, that was one of my favorite series to watch this first round so far. Next one, let's jump over to that Buffalo Sabres and Boston Bruins one. This one, honestly, I'm kind of surprised it went 6 the way that Buffalo was playing. They looked in charge of this series. Even in the losses, they just looked like they were the better team. It was fun.
It just felt like Buffalo was playing with their food the entire time. They were head and shoulders above them. I get that they really didn't have the playoff experience, but to come back from a 2-0 down in the third, and you end up winning the game 4-2 against the Bruins.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough ask. You guys end up doing that at home, and then you lose the second game, and then you go ahead and go, oh well, I guess it really doesn't matter. We're just going to win the rest of these games in Boston.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Yeah, we'll just close it out in your house.
Yeah, we'll have fun with you. We'll let you get your 2 wins in the series. Not a big deal. We're still going to handle our business.
Yeah, this one was kind of the story of the playoffs because Buffalo finally got in. What was it, a 14-year drought they'd been in the playoffs?
The longest drought in NHL history, 14 years they hadn't made the playoffs, and now they're finally back in the dance, and they're a number 1 seed.
Right, well, and they're number 2 in the East. They're number 1 in the Atlantic. Yeah. But Carolina was the number 1 overall seed in the East. But still, I mean, a number 1 seed coming out of the Atlantic. They also, by winning this series, they snapped a 19-year playoff series drought. So 14 years since they've even been in the playoffs, 19 years since they've won a series. So this is their first series win since 2007. So that's a long time, you guys. I mean, this team, and they looked really dominant. I mean, honestly, I'm worried for the East. This team's going to be really tough to take out. Alex Tuch looked like an absolute stud, man. 4 goals, 3 assists. He was all over. He was everywhere on the ice all at once. It was crazy to watch. Tage Thompson played really well. I was really impressed with him. Kind of expected it though. Tage Thompson has been an absolute stud for this team for several years now. And I think now he's finally getting that playoff experience that he really needed to elevate his career. And I think we're going to see this kid grow a lot. Hopefully no more growing physically because he's a big dude, but I think his game is going to develop and grow a lot from this. The Sabres are legit, man. They're legit. This is not a fluke. I know a lot of people were kind of, saying this, they kind of got in, but they had a lucky year. I don't think so, man. I think this team is legit.
I think the front office finally cleaned up house and did what they were supposed to do and do their job. They got a lot of young, youthful talent. They got really good coaching. I think this team is going to be a problem in the future. Yep. I don't feel like this is just going to be we're in it 1 year and that's it. I feel like this team is going to stick around. They've already had playoff success now. I feel like this is going to be a deep run for them. I feel like this team is either going to the Cup or they're going to go to the ECF for sure.
Yeah. The city of Buffalo really deserves this, you guys. It's been such a long time they've been waiting. They have such a devoted fan base with the Bills and the Sabres, and I'm really excited for the city of Buffalo. I think they really, really deserve this. They've waited their time. It's time for them to get something here. I really think this Buffalo Sabres team is very, very, very good, and I don't want to see. I don't want to face them. Is what I'm saying. I would not want to face this team. Let's move on to the next one here. We'll finish up here on the east side. Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay Lightning. This was our only 7-game series of the first round, and this one was exciting, man. This was really fun to watch. This Canadian team is really young. They're full of a lot of young talent, young stars on that team. Kind of the opposite on the other side. Tampa Bay is kind of one of those older veteran teams. They've been there, they've done it lots of times. I think they've won 2 cups with this core team that they have. Been to 3 of them, I think, and won 2 of them. But this was kind of like polar opposites. You had the young, inexperienced team, and you had the old team that's been there, done it. We know what we're dealing with here. Went to 7 games. It was epic. I mean, the first 3 games all went to overtime. This was a very, very close series all the way through. Stats from game 7 that are going to kind of blow your mind here. Montreal won the game 7 2-1. They only took 9 shots on goal.
The fewest in NHL history to win a game like that.
Yeah. In a clinching game too. You had 9 shots on goal, 2 of them went in. That's unheard of. That's crazy. By far the fewest. I mean, and to do it in a game 7 is even more impressive. Like they made it matter when they had to.
Well, I don't even think they had a shot in the second period at all.
Yeah, not at all.
It was straight up. Tampa Bay was dominating possession. They were dominating the shots, but they were not beating Dubas. They were not beating him at all.
Yeah, he played awesome, man. That kid, he's a rookie, and he's been absolutely stellar for the Canadiens. I think he's going to have a really good run. This is the first Montreal playoff series win in 5 years now. So they ended their drought.
I think it's been since they went to the Cup and lost it to Tampa, correct?
This team, like I said, they've been to 3 finals in the last 4 years, or in 4 years. Sorry, not in the last 4 years, but this Tampa team, like the core they have, they went to 3 finals in 4 years and won 2 of them. So, like I said, this is a very experienced team. This is not, they weren't going to just roll over and let them win this. But the Canadiens just refused to die, man. They just refused to go down. And it showed in game 7, like I said, 9 shots and they win 2-1. That's crazy. These are things you're going to tell your grandkids about. You know what I mean? Like, I remember watching that series and seeing that game. Like, it's just mind blowing, man. I was super impressed with the Canadiens.
Well, I think the Canadiens are good. They're exactly like the Sabres. They're here for a while. This is a really, really young team.
Oh,
extremely young. And they've been fighting and clawing. They got bounced last year by the Capitals. This year they end up beating the Lightning. I feel like it's just going to be up and to the right for this team. They're going to keep getting good players in there. They're going to keep doing what they have to do during free agency. this is going to be a scary team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 2 or 3 goalies that are either like rookies or second year players. Cole Caulfield's a young player. Nick Suzuki is still young. He's been around for a while now, but he's still a young player. Juraj Slavkovsky is a young, really, really bright star in the league. Like, this team is really good, man. Really, really good, and a lot of young talent. Let's jump over to the West Conference here. So we'll start off with Colorado Avalanche and the LA Kings.
End of an era right there.
Yeah.
Kopitar retiring.
Yep, that was kind of hard to watch, man. I've watched him play his whole career. I mean, I've loved watching him. I've never been a Kings fan per se, but like we've said before, we're players fans. I am an Avalanche fan, but I'm more of a fan of the players. I follow players' careers.
Well, and when you're such a guy like that,
right,
it's hard to not command respect. Even watching and all right, yeah, you're going to be in the Pacific. I don't really care for your team too much. I still recognize talent when I see it. I'm still going to recognize you as one of the greatest players that played since I've been a kid. I mean,
exactly.
He's been around for forever. End of an era, hard to watch, like you said. And the hardest part was they got swept. It wasn't even like he could celebrate a win in this playoff. Right. It was just, all right, I'm going to go out and we're probably going to get swept, but I'm still going to play this entire series and have fun with my boys one last time.
Yep.
Before I call it quits.
Yeah, no, it was tough to watch, man. I caught myself getting a little emotional at the end of that last game. Like, man, it's really the end. Like, I just never really thought this guy was going to actually retire, But, as you get older as a fan, you start to watch these guys retire and walk away. And it really makes you start to like reminisce on old times, like watching these guys when they were young and you were a young kid, watching them growing up, watching these guys play. And, they're Anze Kopitar is a gentleman, man. Like he's always been very respected around the league. I've never seen him, be a dirty guy at all. I've never seen him really he's just always been very, very respectable, But this one, it was a sweep. Colorado looked dominant from the start, man. They just suffocated this team. McKinnon was as good as he always is. And nothing surprising there. Same with Cale Makar. He was brilliant. But not surprising. I mean, those two are 2 of the best players in the entire league. This was a really, I thought this one would be a gentleman's sweep, so I wasn't far off here, but it was a sweep. It was 4-0, but this Colorado team looks absolutely dominant right now. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan of them. They look very, very overpowering, and I think it's going to take a lot to get this team out of the playoffs. It's going to take everything a team has got. Barring
injury, I think this team is unstoppable.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that. I think you can maybe get a game or 2 out of them, but that's going to be it. They're just so head and shoulders above everyone else, and they've proven it all year long. They just have had a phenomenal pace as far as winning goes. They have been on top of it. They have been the team to catch since the beginning. How do you stop this team? How do you stop them? I mean, some of the times you're watching this team and it's the way they play tic-tac-toe with that puck. It just feels unfair. You're like, well, what do you want us to do? We had 4 guys around somebody and they still score on us. Right. How is that possible?
Well, and they're so deep too. I mean, their 3 and 4 lines are just as good as most teams' first and second lines. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, when your first and second line's out against a 3 and 4 line, you're like, okay, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a long night for us.
Yeah, and they're great on defense as well. I mean, they're 3 lines deep on defense too. So it is going to be really tough to beat this team. But let's jump over to this next series. We had the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. Now this one, I thought this would go 7 games. It went 6, so we were close there, but this one was so fun to watch. I mean, these are 2 of the top 5 teams in the entire NHL going at it in the first round. Like, I don't understand why this is a first round matchup. The way the NHL does it, I'm not opposed to it. It's just sometimes every now and then we have a year like this where it's just like, man, I really wish this was like a second round matchup because these teams, both of them deserve to get out of the first round. They had really solid teams, great seasons, but hey, that's just the way the cards fall, man. They matched up in the first round and someone's got to go, But I will say I did think Dallas would honestly play better than they did. but they still played awesome. I mean, they were really good in this series.
Except
but
for
Minnesota,
game one, the Dallas Stars did not show up.
Yeah, true.
I honestly feel like that was the turning point that turned this from a game 7 to a game 6, because then you started on your heels. You came out the gate and you played on your heels the entire time. You got punched in the mouth hard, and it felt like they had no answers for the Wild. They ended up coming back in game 2 and winning that one, and then it became a series once you stole one of the games from Minnesota. But
right,
it was honestly one of those, you had to win game 1. If you're the Stars, you're starting the series out, you're at home, you got all that environment, you got all the juice, and then you get shellapped 6-1.
Yeah,
it was nasty. It was not a good game to watch.
But we did have a double overtime game and an overtime game. So I mean, these were some really close games here. But this was definitely a franchise changing moment for Minnesota. It's the first time they've won a playoff series since 2015. That's 11 years, man. And this is the state of hockey. I mean, it's time that this team does something. And I think they're really on the cusp of doing something really special here in the next 2 or 3 years. Unfortunately, they get the Avs in the next round, so it's going to be really tough to get past. But we'll talk about that more when we get to the second round here. But this team, they finally went out and won a series, and that is big for this franchise. They've really needed that. They looked dominant in game 1, but man, dude, they barely survived that double overtime game. I honestly thought Dallas was going to win that game. Watching it, I just felt like, man, they're going to put one in here. Went to the second overtime. I was like, God, they're gonna do it. Yeah, and they didn't. But I tell you what, Quinn Hughes, I knew he was a star when he was in Vancouver, but man, is he.
I was just going to say, he was the difference maker.
Yes.
I feel like in the series, like you could tell once they lost the game at home against the Stars, some flip switched in his head, because he became a next level animal. He went after the team. He was not happy with anybody. You could tell he was the straight up leader of this team, and we are not losing another freaking game to these guys. We're just done with them.
Right.
I've had enough. And you could tell he was a big difference maker.
Well,
I really do love this team, but they have a really hard fight coming up against the Avs.
Yes. And like I said, he was a star already in Vancouver. So I'm not saying he wasn't good over there or anything. It felt like he really turned the dial and just really turned things up, man, when he came over to the Wild. It's almost like he was reborn again.
It wasn't even like when he came over to the Wild. There was a flip that was switched over there in Milan, where he became the U.S. Olympian, the crazy superstar, and now he wants to be a winner. Yep. Like he that flip is switched, and he's gone. He's ready to go to the next level no matter what. He's willing to go to the deep end. And you're talking about a guy who loves to play 40 to 45 minutes a night.
Oh, yeah.
Without thinking about it.
Yeah, he plays so many minutes. And I mean, he's truly an offensive defensive-man. I mean, that's really where his game shines, is on the offensive end. Well, but he was dominant on both sides in this series. I mean, he played awesome defense. I mean, this guy's had a 100-point season in his career already. So as a defensive-man, so that's really impressive. But man, he was just dominant on both ends. I mean, I was really, really impressed with him. But Minnesota has to lock him up and keep him there. And I really hope he does want to stay there, because I think they're putting something really special together there in Minnesota.
The way he's playing is like he wants to be there.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine he's not going to try to take a team-friendly discount. And you're talking about young talent around him. He knows they're going to be good for a while.
Right.
This team is really young. They finally have money. You got Eriksson Ek. You got Kaprizov. You got Faber, who's coming into his own.
Yep.
You got Hughes. I mean, you got the Wallstead, who's been killing it as goalie for him.
And Hughes has really elevated Faber. I mean, Faber was a really good prospect coming out when they drafted him out of Minnesota and stuff, but pairing him with Quinn Hughes has really elevated his career to a whole nother level. I mean, think about playing next to a guy like that. You got 100-point caliber defensive men on playing next to you every night, every shift. Like that's really, really good for you, because it opens the ice up so much for you on offense, and it gives you that confidence on defense to play as hard as you possibly can and push everyone to the limit. But I tell you what, man, this Wild team is for real. They are not a joke. I know they got in as the 3 seed out of the Central, and some people weren't sure about this team just because of history and stuff, but I tell you what, this team is for real, man. This is a very, very, very good Wild team. And as an Avs fan, I'm not thrilled about playing them in the second round. I think it is going to be tough for them to beat the Avs, but they're going to give them a hell of a fight, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome to watch.
Yep.
Let's jump to that last series. I believe this is the last. Nope, we got
Second
two
to
more
last.
here. So Vegas, we had the Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth. Now this one was really fun.
I think this one was my favorite to watch in the entire playoffs. This one was probably right up there with the Canadiens Lightning. This one was really fun. It kept going to the wire every night. And like I said, I felt like Utah could take these guys a distance. I don't really remember exactly who I picked, but I was not surprised that Utah really drug this thing out against them. Vegas was a team that you could just tell that they had a little bit more of playoff experience.
Right.
And that's really what paid off for them, was that little bit of extra, because it seemed like every time that Utah would end up finessing a way to get the lead in the third quarter, all of a sudden Vegas would empty their net or do something and tie the game up and go to overtime, and then they'd find a way to win. And I don't think the Mammoth really had an answer for that. Losing in this fashion, I think, is going to be good for Utah.
They're going to grow so much from this series, man.
Well, they're already stealing Vegas fans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Doing a jersey swap. Hey, if you're a Vegas fan because you haven't had anyone else to root for and you're in the Utah area, come to the game. We'll give you give us your jersey of a Golden Knights player, and we'll give you whatever jersey you want.
Yeah, we'll
of your favorite player. Like, that's crazy. That's a cool deal.
Yes, it's awesome. And man, Utah really pushed them. They pushed them to a 2-1 series lead before the Knights kind of turned the switch and took this thing. But this is a really young Utah team, very, very young. A lot of young stars on this team. They're very fast. I mean, dude, watching some of those games, it was just like, how are they keeping up with these guys? They move so quick on the ice, and that team is really, really fun to watch. And I think this is going to be a very scary team in the West going forward. They learned a lot from this series. Two of these games went to overtime. Game 4 and Game 5 went to overtime. But the Knights did show their championship DNA because they won both of those games. I mean, as a matter of fact, Game 5 was a double overtime game, if I remember correctly. I think it went to 2 overtimes.
Well, honestly, I think Game 5 was the same exact situation as the Canes. They scored the goal, end up being offsides. Then the game goes to overtime, and then they go ahead and put the goal in the second overtime. Other teams, that could have deflated you. All right, you just scored the goal. Now we're kind of got this little limbo going on where we don't know what's going to happen. And then you get back on the ice and you click it all together again and you win. You don't give up. You don't slouch at all. Because that's always what they say is, like, after a goal scored, you just kind of let your guard down. Nope, they didn't do that at all. They just kept buttoned down. They played the game that they had to play, and they went all out for it, and they ended up winning.
Yeah. Two guys that really kind of showed me a lot in this series one was Carter Hart. He's been out of the league for a couple of years now because of the incident up in Canada and stuff. That all got taken care of. He signed with Vegas. He played all right throughout the regular season. But then he really settled in to this postseason play. He's been making huge saves when it mattered the most, and I'm really impressed with his play. But the other one is Mitch Marner. He had 2 goals and an assist in the clinching Game 6. It's the first time he's ever scored in a closeout game in his career. So kind of getting that monkey off his back, like something he hasn't been able to really do in the playoffs. He was on the Maple Leafs for a long time, so some rough years. And then even the years that they did make the playoffs, they didn't, go terribly far. So I think that was really big for Mitch Marner to get that kind of off his conscience. Say, I know I can do this. I'm a big time player in the league, and I can show up in these big moments. But I will say, dude, Vegas, their depth was overwhelming at times. You could tell that Utah was the inexperienced young team, and Vegas was the team that had older players. We've been here, we've done it. It's kind of like the Lightning were with the Canadiens. The Canadiens ended up winning that series, but it was kind of the same thing. You could tell, like, hey, we've been here. You're not going to rattle us. We don't care if we're down 2-1, 3-1. We don't care if the game is 4-1 at some point. It doesn't matter. Like, we've been here and seen this,
Well, and on top of it, so you had the Canadian team who had last year the loss of that. They really pushed the Capitals.
Right.
I feel like this is exactly what Utah just did this year. They had a year behind the Canadians, where this is their first time in the playoffs with this team, with this nucleus. They finally get it all figured out. They lose to Vegas in a heartbreaker. I mean, just the way you end up losing 2 of these games, which really happened to be the games that mattered the most.
Right.
You lose those heartbreakers. I feel like this is just going to be fuel for the fire. And I know you didn't mention him, but the player that really impressed me was Vejmelka. Vejmelka was killing it for a goal.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you're talking about a guy who only did not start and or play in 1 regular season game. Otherwise, he was their goalie for all 81 games.
Yeah, and he played awesome. I mean, like I said, this Utah team is awesome. I mean, I didn't mention any of them, just because I was kind of talking about the winning
winners,
team, but
yeah.
I mean, Logan Cooley played awesome. Dylan Gunther played awesome. This Utah team, like I said, they're going to be very scary in the West going forward.
And the one that you didn't mention on Vegas is Howitzer Howden over there. That guy has been a playoff phenomenon since he got the playoffs have started. He has been the difference maker, I think, for Vegas. He is, like I call him Howitzer, man. He just shoots the puck and it goes in net. It just goes.
Yeah. Well, and Vegas is so deep. I mean, we could talk all night about the guys on that team. They've been here. They've done it. They won the cup in 2023. I think only 1 season of their entire franchise history, they haven't made the playoffs. They've been to 2 cups and won 1 in the 9 years that they've been a team. I mean, this team is great. Don't ever sleep on the Vegas Golden Knights. Let's get to this last one on the West here. Anaheim Ducks and Edmonton Oilers. I think a lot of people were surprised with the results of this one.
Not me. I said the Ducks had no problem going up to Edmonton and beating them a few games.
Yeah, I think you called this one. I think you said Anaheim in 6. I took Edmonton. I took it. I think I took 7 games. I can't remember off the top of my head, maybe 6, but I did think it was kind of gonna be like the Vegas and Utah series. I thought, Anaheim will probably get 1 or 2 games. They'll look really good, but just the experience is gonna end up winning. And man, we were proven wrong here. This Anaheim Ducks team really, really played well against Edmonton. Anaheim wins it 4 games to 2. This was definitely the upset of the round 1. They knocked out the 2-time defending Western Conference finalists, and like I said, nobody except Trenton saw this coming. I don't really think anyone had the Ducks winning this series. Honestly, I don't. I know you did, but I don't really. Looking around and seeing social media and stuff, it didn't seem like anyone was really giving this Ducks team any credit. Like, this is a really good team, man.
Well, not only that, but you just watching them all year long. There was a reason why they were where they were at. They're the number 3 seed. Joe Quenneville is a serious coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very young team, but he's gotten these guys to play out of their skulls. And you're also playing an opponent that you can handle these guys. You can handle their stuff. And you could tell normal teams would get rattled against this kind of Oiler team where they would all of a sudden, you'd look at the game and it would just start. And then within the first 5-10 minutes, Oilers are up 2-0. They didn't care. All right, we're just going to weather the storm. All right, yeah, they scored on us real quick. Boom, now we're going to get back to our hockey, and we're going to end up winning the game. I mean, you've seen a lot of those games where it just had these crazy swings where I feel like a lot of it came down to fatigue for the Oilers as well. Have you made 2 really deep playoff pushes in the last few years? You've constantly been in the playoffs. Those extra weeks on the season really add up. And
they do.
You have a team that hasn't been there. They're really young, so they're willing to face you where they have to. And honestly, it comes down to I love this Oilers team. I think they have a great team, but their Achilles heel is their goaltending. We've known that since the beginning. And then on top of that Achilles heel, their team forgets to play defense, and it continually happens. You'll get up 2-0, and then they think, all right, we can start slouching. And that's exactly when the Ducks or these other teams come out and punch you in the mouth. And that's when they take the lead over, because at that point you've slouched too much that coming back into the fold of playing, it's too late. By the time you finally come back to, all right, we got to play really good defense again, it's already tied up 2-2, or you're even down now. And the other team's not giving up that. We have that edge now. We're going to keep playing that way. And that's exactly what the Ducks did. And Joe Quenneville, I mean, I felt like he coached a perfect game for him. Is we're going to weather the storm. These guys are going to do good. We know how the Oilers are, but we know we can handle them. And once it comes down to the third, that's when it matters the most. They can do whatever they want in the first. Second and third is going to be our periods. The end. We're going to win it.
Yeah. I really think, if you guys haven't watched our trade deadline episode for NHL, what the puck, make sure you go check that out, because you'll see us talk about some of these trades that came up crucial in these rounds. We talked about it on that episode, man. The trade, the Tristan Jarry for Stuart Skinner. We were all kind of puzzled by it. Like, what? I didn't understand the trade, because it was basically you were just trading X for X. What did you gain out of that trade? You're getting the same type of goalie, and it really showed in this round. I thought the goaltending got him again. Again, it got him. And it's like it's time to do something different there in Edmonton. I don't know if it's time to blow it up or what, but it's time to do something different.
Well, and you got to be sick to your stomach, right? Because if I'm an Oilers fan, you had the draft pick that ended up going to Minnesota, and they get Wallstedt out of it.
Yeah.
And you see him light it up over there. He's stealing games left and right. In fact, he's the starting goalie over Gus, and I thought Gus was a killer goalie. So you have 1A, 1B over there in Minnesota, and meanwhile, you're over here in Edmonton, and you have this crazy electric defensive unit that can score on you. You have a exceptional scoring forwards, wingers, exceptional. And then you just completely fall apart at goalie all the time.
Right.
I mean,
it's weird. I don't understand it.
You guys can score as many points as you want over there in Edmonton, and I feel like this is really me giving an indictment to you guys, but you guys can score 6 points, but the problem is your goalie gives up 7 or 8. If you have a goalie that is good at stopping pucks and just holds the line, and you can only score 2 or 3, guess what? You're winning a lot of these games because the Oilers are that potent of an offense. But you're not doing that. So it comes to the point of either you have to shore up your goalie at the expense of losing a lot of offensive talent, or you're going to have to keep going into the draft and keep locking down your players and hope that one day you're going to get a goalie. But I just don't see it happening. I think for these players, for McDavid and Draisaitl, you need to leave.
Yeah.
You have to leave this environment.
Yeah, it's time to go try something different. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily time to blow it up, but it might be. It might be. I do want to talk about some of the young guns though on Anaheim, man. Leo Carlsson is starting to look like a stud. He's starting to look like a star player in this league. He was drafted 2nd overall behind Connor Bedard, and he is really turning into a very, very, very high level, borderline star player in this league. I'm really enjoying watching his career. Jackson Lakem, he played absolutely awesome. Lakem actually he shut down Connor McDavid in their matchup. Like he was matched up with him, and he shut him down. He collected 9 points in his first playoff series. It's tied for 2nd among all skaters in round 1 this playoff. He played absolutely awesome. Beckett Sinecki. I don't know if it's Sinecki or Sinek.
Dude, this kid has been a stud since he got drafted.
Awesome, man.
Another young talent that got drafted this last year. What, 3rd?
I think he was drafted the year before 3rd. I can't remember exactly, but very, very young player. Very young player. And then Cutter Gauthier, another one that was drafted just here in the last 2 or 3, 4 years. These guys, man, they outskated Edmonton's veterans hand over fist. I mean, they completely outplayed them.
And when they got beat, they had a still wall of Dostal behind them.
Yes,
they knew they could play a little bit more loose because they knew they had that still wall behind them. All right, he's gonna make sure he gets pucks more than he loses them. So it was just crazy. As the young talent on this team and how electric they are, how fast they move, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem for a lot of people. And now you have a team that was young. They're like the Mammoth, where they're young. They have this really good nucleus, and then they have a coach who's grizzled and been there, and he's like Torts. He reminds me of Torts. He's going to get every ounce of juice from you guys. You might think he's the biggest prick in the world until you're hosting the cup, and then you're going to love the guy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they made the Oilers look old and slow.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of the changing of the guard in the Pacific Division right here. I mean, we're kind of seeing it play out in front of us, or we did see it kind of play out in front of us. Anaheim hadn't made the playoffs since 2017, 18. That's the first year that Vegas was in the league, and now they're matching up in round 2. That's kind of an interesting fact there, you know. I will say though, Dostal did have his moments where he didn't play great. He did get pulled in game 5. He didn't have a great save percentage, but he played good when it mattered. And that does mean something at this point in the season. You know, it really
and on
does.
top of it, you're going against this high-powered Oiler team. It's gonna happen where you have games that you're just gonna look bad, but for what he needed to do, he did a great job at making sure they stayed in these games more often than not.
Right, like I said, when it mattered, he did play well, but he did have some moments where it was kind of like, oh, man, you know what's going on here, but when it mattered, he did play well.
Well, and you could tell too that the team bought in on those moments, right? Because they knew that they let their guy down. That's when they would play a little bit harder. That's when they would get the extra blocks. That's when they would get the extra ozone possession time. They would do what they had to do to make sure their goalie looked really good. Oh, you're having a bad night, and we haven't really helped Jerry. It goes back and forth. You watched it. I mean, you watched that the Bruins team. Swayze ends up leaving the ice, and he's cussing out the entire bench, and he goes, "What the crap? Like, you guys have not helped me at all. I'm getting pulled in this game. This is BS."
Well, and even his coach.
Yeah, well, even the coach backed him up. Yeah, well, even the coach backed him up. They're like, "Hey, what do you think about him yelling at him, telling him that somebody else besides him needs to play hockey?" And the coach is like, "He's right. Somebody else does need to play hockey because they're leaving him, hanging him out to dry. He's been the best player on the ice every night." Well,
he got pulled in it, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't because of his play. It was just, hey, we got to do something different. Like, we got to change it up. You know,
when you're giving up those type of turnovers, giving up those tic-tac-toes, they can get ugly in a hurry. I mean,
you're leaving your goalie.
You're a goalie, and he can only move so fast, and that puck moves 90 mile an hour plus. So
right. I mean, it's hard to. You can't leave your goalie on an island like that. These guys, they're such good goalies, but they can't stop everything. I mean, you got to remember how good and talented these skaters really are. I mean, they can poke one in when they're left like that all by themselves, one-on-one like that. Let's jump into the second round, though. Let's do the second round preview. So we got the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Philadelphia Flyers in round 2. I do think this is going to be a really fun series to watch. Carolina went 4-0 in the first round, and like we said earlier, Philly won their round 4-2. Anderson has been elite in net, man. Anderson looked absolutely dominant in the first round. So I'm excited to see how he plays in the second round. I do think this Flyers team's got some quiet talent on that team that a lot of people aren't looking at. I think this could be a good series.
They got a little gritty to them, huh?
They really do. The Hurricanes are definitely the favorite in this series, and I'm not going to take anything from that. They deserve to be the favorites. They're the number 1 seed in the East. They just swept through the first round, so there's really no reason to not be favoring them. But I'm telling you, man, this Philly team looks dangerous, and they kind of have that, like I said, that team of destiny feel to them. I think the biggest question here is if can Carolina's top line, like Jarvis and Aho and Svechnikov, can they kind of wake up offensively? They didn't really do much in that first round at all. They were very quiet, and you can't rely on your second line every round. You know what I mean? Like, your top line does have to go out there and produce. So I think that's going to be kind of something to watch in this series. See if they can kind of come alive, get some points, kind of put their team in lead situations where they can kind of rely on the second and third line again. But I don't know, man. This one, if Carolina comes alive, like I said, if they come alive that top line, this might get ugly. I don't know. This Carolina team is really, really good.
Well, that's my exact thought is they go ahead and they do a sweep, and it wasn't even their first and second lines really producing the points.
Well, it was the second line. The second line was lights
phenomenal.
Out.
But I mean, you're talking about your first line that just absolutely didn't show anything at all.
Right.
And it's eventually going to happen where that first line starts scoring points. So you're right. When they do start, because I don't feel like it's a if they start, it's a when do they start scoring points.
Right.
And once that happens, you're going to be a scary team because we've seen this team fall flat on their face in the past when that first line doesn't produce. In fact, we saw it last year in the Eastern Conference Finals and the year before where you guys get gentlemen swept and then you get swept because your top producers end up falling flat on their face, and then the rest of the team that you need to start having, at least get us some points or do what you got to do. They didn't win those kind of games. And then you guys end up getting a sweep in this last series, and you have your goalie go off. once this top line really clicks, this team is going to be extremely scary.
Yes.
They're going to be a problem. And I don't feel like the Flyers know what they're getting themselves into. I feel like, all right, you ended up beating the Penguins. Congratulations. I thought the Penguins were a solid team. I thought they were going to score a lot more points than they did. They kind of played more on their heels, and Skinner sucks as a goalie. I mean, let's face it. Like he blew his chance at winning a Stanley Cup. You give up 6 goals a game, and you're on a team that scores 7 a game. You needed to make 1 or 2 more saves and maybe hoist yourself a Stanley Cup. You blew that chance for yourself, and I don't see you doing it with any other team. Any other team, you have to play that kind of defense. You have to play that kind of hockey, and I just don't see him having another winning team like he had with the Oilers, where I can have a crap game, but my team's going to carry me. I can give up 4 goals a night, and we're going to score 5 or 6.
Yeah.
He ruined that chance for himself.
Yeah. I think for me, this series, honestly, I think it comes down to the goaltending, because Dan Vladar has been great for the Phillies or for the Flyers. Vladar has looked awesome. He played great in the first round. He had a really great season all year. And like I said, Anderson kind of had a shaky year, but man, he really turned it on when the playoffs started. He was like a brick wall. So I think this is going to be kind of a showdown of the goaltending and see where these teams go. What's your prediction on this one, Trent? What do you got? What do you got happening here?
I think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to end up giving Carolina some fits. I just feel like Carolina is a Stanley Cup or bust at this point. And unfortunately, the Flyers are going to fly into the buzzsaw that is the Canes. I think this is going to be a gentleman's sweep.
Okay.
I feel like Carolina is going to take them out of their misery as fast as possible so they can get that rest in, and then they're ready to go ahead and play against the next team that they have to.
Okay. I definitely think Carolina is the better team here. I really do. But I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to take the Flyers in 6. Something about this team just feels like it's clicking at the right time. And I think, I took them in the first round to beat Pittsburgh. I was right there, and I think I'm going to stick with them because, like I said, just something about this team just feels right. It feels like this team is like I said, just clicking at the right time. The young talent is meshing with the veteran talent. The goaltending has been on point. Like, I just feel like they're going to get through this round. I really do. And I think they're going to do it in 6 too. I think it's going to really surprise some people. I think I'm taking the Flyers here. I might be crazy, man. I don't know. It's just something is making me think that this team, like I said earlier, they feel like a team of destiny. And I'm going to stick with that. Let's move over to the next matchup in the East. We got the Buffalo Sabres and we got the Montreal Canadiens. This one is going to be a really fun series. I think these are two teams that the first time these two have met in the playoffs since 1998. That's almost 3 decades, you guys. That's a long, long time. These are 2 really, really good teams, you guys. I mean, the Buffalo won the Atlantic. Montreal, like we said earlier, is a really young, talented team. They just knocked out the Tampa Bay Lightning, who's a very experienced team. So I think this is going to be a really fun series. Buffalo's pretty well rested. Alex Tuch is on fire. Like I said earlier, like this Sabres team looks really confident and really, really dangerous. But Montreal, man, they're battle tested. They just went through seven hard games with Tampa, and they didn't disappoint. They pushed through it. This is another one that I think goaltending could really define this series. I really do. I think the goaltending is going to be very, very important here, which it always is, obviously. But I think this could come down to who's got the better goaltender here. I mean, the odds are basically a coin flip at this point on this one. What do you think?
I think Sabres handle this one in 6.
You do?
I think they're going to take care. They're going to take care of business. This team goaltending is going to be important, but this offense, I don't know how you stop them. This offense is real. It's extremely potent. They're going to be a problem. They're going to score often and fast. We watched it with Boston, where they got down. They really had a horrific night, and then boom, third period comes, and then they're just boom, 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 and they're throwing pucks on net, left, right, and center, and next thing you know, it's 4-2, and you're down. I feel like no lead is safe with this team. And when they have a lead, you're in danger.
Yes.
Even with a 1-point lead, I talked about it earlier with the Avs. I mean, when this team gets a 1-point lead, it feels exactly like the Avs, like you're suffocating. You're down 2 goals instead of the 1.
Right.
It just has that multiplying factor where you know how important the 1 goal is, and then if you get down 2 goals, then then you're in a shark infested waters where now I'm just trying not to get eaten alive.
Yeah, every goal feels like 2. You know, they score 1, it feels like you're down by 2. They score 2, it feels like you're down by 4. Like,
and you get up
crazy.
1, and then it just feels like it's not like you scored 2 goals. It feels like, all right, we gave ourselves a little bit of a breather. Whew.
Right.
I can let some air out right now and relax for 5 seconds, and then we'll try to get another goal in, and then that's when you feel like, okay, it feels almost like half a goal, really, where it's like you get 2 goals and you feel like you finally are up 1. Where we can handle this team. We can do something with them.
And this is 2, pretty young teams that are really on the rise right now in the NHL. So I'm excited to watch this series. I think it could, it's to me, it's got potential to be the best series of the round. I do think the Colorado and Minnesota one will end up being the best, but this really does have the potential to be that kind of series. Buffalo's trying to reach their first conference finals since 2007. So are they going to keep, breaking these droughts that they've had, or does it come to an end? To me, this one comes down to Montreal's resilience and Buffalo's firepower. Those are the 2 things that are going to really show here. What's your prediction on this one? I want to get to yours first here.
Like I said, Buffalo's going to win this 4-2.
Okay,
they're gonna take 4 games away from this one win. I don't think it's going to be a sweep by any means, because I just don't see this Canadian team not winning.
Right.
I feel like they're resilient enough that they're going to find a way to steal a game or 2.
Right.
But I just feel like offense for this Buffalo team is going to be too potent. This Canadiens team is really young, really good, and they have a solid goaltender. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Buffalo, when they get hot, they're going to suffocate this team, and it's not going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think Buffalo wins it, but I'm taking 7 games. I think this one's got 7 written all over it. This is going to be a really fun matchup. These are 2, like I said, really young, up and coming teams. So I'm taking this one. I'm taking Buffalo in 7 here. Let's jump over to the Western Conference. So we got the Avs versus the Wild. Like I said, this is probably going to be the best series of the round. The Buffalo and Canadiens one does have the potential to be, but I just think at the end of the day, this is probably going to be the best matchup. These are 2 of the top teams in the league. I mean, hands down.
They've been going. We talked about this for months now. The Central is the best division in hockey, and it's because the Avs raised everyone else's game because you had to. In order for you to compete with this Avs team, you had to keep winning, because they were going to run away with the number 1 spot unless somebody kept winning alongside them.
Right.
I mean, the streak that you guys had all season long was just insane. They were setting an insane pace for wins, and then, all right, well, we're not going to win this game. We're going to lose, but we're getting our points because it's going to overtime or a shootout. We're not going to get no points tonight. We're just going to find a way to make sure we get at least 1 point towards the playoffs every freaking night. Right. And more often than not, it was a win. So it's really hard to put a team away like that. The Wild and Stars played these guys extremely hard all season long. I mean, I believe the series was split this year, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I think so, if I remember correctly. The regular season series,
the regular
season
for the Wild and Avs. So these guys know how to match up very well against each other.
Well, and this is one of the teams that gave the Avs the most trouble throughout the regular season. I mean, the Avs didn't really struggle much at all through the regular season. It was the Wild and the Stars that they really.
And I honestly felt like this was the most upsetting result that the Avs could have had. I felt like you guys could have handled the Stars a little bit better than you guys can handle the Wild, just because that Wild team is so young. They have that kind of tenacity to them. They're nasty. It felt like if you had a coin flip, you were kind of hoping that the Stars would get the win, because, all right, well, we know we can dog walk these guys if we have to, but we're not going to be constantly in a dogfight with them.
Honestly, as an Avs fan, I disagree. I was kind of hoping we would get the Wild because I was really worried about the Stars. But after watching that series, now I'm kind of wishing we would have gotten the Stars because the Wild looked they looked better than the Stars. They did in that series. But going into it, like I said, like when we were talking in the trade deadline episode and stuff, and when we were talking in the playoff preview, the first round preview episode, I was really worried as an Avs fan. I was really, really worried about that Stars team. I thought their defense just was just way, way, way too big, too strong, too powerful to, I was really worried about matching up with them. But like I said, man, watching that first round, now I'm kind of like, I kind of wish we would have gotten the Stars now because this Wild team, man, they look for real. I mean, this is a marquee matchup. This is two legitimate cup teams playing in the second round. These are two teams that if they didn't have to meet each other, they would be going to the cup. You know what I mean?
Any other year, it's like
exactly
if the Wild would have been in the Eastern Conference or even the Avs, I felt like they would have met each other in the finals.
Yes,
but this is not a finals matchup. You guys are both in the same division. Now you guys get to knock each other out and have a fist fight. I think the greatest thing that you have is you have rest going for your team. You swept the Kings. The Wild had a tough go getting game 6 win against the Stars. That was a tough, brutal series like we knew it was going to be. The Kings definitely no slouch. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but they just did not have the same type of fight and tenacity that the Central Division has had. That
right.
Pacific Division is just, you can tell it's just a step down. I think this is going to be the hardest fight that you guys have all playoffs, like I said earlier in this podcast. But I think you guys handle business. I am going to pick you guys in 7, if it even gets there. I mean, this Avs team is just phenomenal. I think we're going to see some really good stellar defensive play. We're going to see some good goaltending. I think it's going to be a really fun series. These guys, I mean, we've seen them all year long where they have a 1-2 game win, or you have a 5-4 game win, where it just depends on the night, but it doesn't matter. Somebody's going to win, and they're going to play the game that they have to play.
Right. Right.
Both of these teams have no problem coming back, and all right, we're down 2 goals. We're going to find a way to claw ourselves back. We're going to keep in games. It's just it's a heartbreaker for me because I really wanted this Wild team to go further, but I feel like you're running into the buzzsaw that is the Avs. But the great news is I've watched Brent Burns since he was a Shark. I've loved that guy, and I think he's finally going to get himself a cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. To me, the matchup I'm most excited to see in this one is Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. I think these are honestly the 2 best defensive men in the entire world right now. They're going to be on the ice at the same time. Like this is going to be one of those series where you really need to tune in, turn everything else off. If you're able to turn everything off and just watch pure, just enjoyable hockey. Like this is going to be absolutely fun to watch. This one to me, it's McKinnon and the Avs depth. I mean, because this is a very deep team versus a very resilient Wild team. Like it's like the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Like who's gonna win? I think it's gonna be a very, very fun series. This is gonna be absolutely fun.
I think the Wild are just one player short right now. I mean, it's heartbreaking to say, but I honestly feel that. Like I don't know where to pinpoint it. Just watching them play, they are so good. But compared to the Avs, it feels like you're just one guy short, or coaching or something's just a little bit. You got to get a little bit extra, and that's why I have to give that edge to the Avs. I mean,
yeah,
I just feel like there's still a little bit more juice in that lemon to squeeze, but where do you get it? Where do you get it?
Right. Where do you get that juice from? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wild, like we said earlier, they won their first playoff series since 2015, which, like I said, it's a huge step for this franchise. I mean, this is the state of hockey. Like, these fans still feel like they got their franchise stolen from them, and they went and won a cup right away down in Dallas. So this is big for Minnesota. Like, this is huge, but now they run into this giant monster of the Avs, like
juggernaut over here.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really fun series.
But the exciting thing is this is the first year you guys have really had any money to spend on players.
Exactly. It's been a long time since
I mean, like, you talk about stolen franchise. It felt like your wallet was stolen for a while, where it was just you were locked into these players that didn't even play for you anymore. and your team's only going to be able to get better and better. And I really do hope, like we talked earlier, they lock down Quinn Hughes, because if they can lock down him, Kaprizov, this team is going to be really scary in the future, especially if the coach can get that little extra juice out of him. Maybe this series loss goes to that 7 like we talked, and they lose in a heartbreaker, and that's going to be the juice. I don't know what it's going to be, but something's going to happen where this Minnesota team is finally going to hoist the Lordo over their heads, and I feel like it's sooner rather than later. I would not be surprised within the next 5 years if they can hoist it once, maybe even twice.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's your pick here then? It sounds like you're taking the Avs.
I'm taking the Avs. It's going to be a 4-3 series for me. Avalanche are gonna win this. There's going to be an avalanche of problems.
Okay,
it's going to be wild to see.
No puns intended there.
No, a little bit maybe.
The puns are out again. I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think it's a 7-game series. I think Colorado wins it. I think we're going to see some really, really great hockey played. Just so many star players on the ice. It's going to be really fun. Let's get to this last one here.
I thought those guys are home now.
Yeah, they are now. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Anaheim Ducks. Now, this one's a really fun matchup. It's the first ever playoff meeting between these two teams. It's a clash of styles here. I mean, Vegas is, like we said earlier, they're that older veteran team who's won a cup, been to several cups. They've been there, they've done that. They know everything. They've seen everything. And then this Ducks team is a bunch of young kids that are they don't know how to lose because they haven't done it yet in the playoffs.
Not only that, but you look at both of these teams. You guys went out of your way to make sure you had high caliber coaching that has done this before, can get all the juice out of the lemon to squeeze. I mean, Torts, you guys hired him at the end of the year.
Right.
All right, look, our coach got it done all season long, but you're not going to be able to get the juice out of these guys that we need. And it proved out. I mean, you guys end up beating this Mammoth team that I honestly thought the Mammoth were going to take care of business.
I did too, honestly.
It was really touch and go, but Vegas found a way to get the juice out of themselves and push it. Torts is that guy. He can do that. And towards the end of the year, it just was, you could see it. These guys had belief. We're not going to lose a game.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. They brought in a guy who, like he has said multiple times, like when he was in Philly, it felt like he was babysitting. He had to teach these guys.
He's not
hockey.
doing that anymore because these guys have been to a cup.
Exactly.
These guys are all veterans. They know how to play. You don't have to babysit. You just have to be the prick that gets the juice out of them.
Yes.
And like you hear a lot of these guys talk about the interviews afterwards, what they love the most about him is he might be a prick to you, but he'll tell you exactly what you got to fix in order to get on his team.
I feel like this is a way better situation for Torts because the young kids, I think he can be a really hard coach to play for. He is very, very, very demanding, very hard. You can tell just seeing him on the bench and stuff. He's a screamer. Like, to me, these young teams, it's going to be hard to coach them that way. These are young kids. This is a different generation of people. But these older teams is a perfect fit for him. I don't have to sit here and coach you guys. I'm here to make the decisions, put who I need on the ice in the right situations, make sure the right power play is out there for this situation. And he's not coaching them how to play hockey. He's managing the game. And that's what I think is best for him in this point in his career. It's a great fit for him. Vegas is the perfect fit for him. I think it was a great move. I thought it was weird when they did it, that late in the season and stuff, but I think it was a perfect move. One thing that stuck out to me about this series, so these two teams matched up 3 times this season. Anaheim won all 3 of them. All 3 of them finished 4-3, but 2 of them went to overtime. So Vegas knows they're in for a fight here. I mean, they are in for a brutal knockdown fight. This is going to be a really fun series. If Jackson Lakeham can play the way he did in the last series, can he go out there and shut down another superstar like Jack Eichel? He just did it to Connor McDavid, arguably the greatest hockey player in the world right now. Can he go out there and do it again against Jack Eichel? I mean, it's going to be fun to see.
If you did it against the best player, McJesus on ice, what they call him, do it against the best player. Eichel is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not McDavid.
Right.
And if he just did that against McDavid, I feel like he could do it against anybody. And You said 4-3. They won all those games. It means he already knows how to put the clamps on this guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be very fun to watch because I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit more reminiscent of when the Vegas Knights first got in the league and San Jose was still really good and they were in the playoffs, and we're just going to have some nice fights where people are going to get under each other's skin. You're going to see this is going to brew into a Pacific rivalry matchup for the years to come, I believe.
Yeah. And this might end up being another kind of changing of the guard series. If Anaheim pulls this off, it's like, man, they just knocked out two of the powerhouse Pacific teams and knocked them down a notch. You know, this might end up being a changing of the guard. I think, in my opinion, the series changer here is going to be Pavel Dorofeev. If Pavel Dorofeev ends up playing like he played in spurts in the season, this guy is one of those guys, he won't score a goal for 3 or 4 games, and then he has a hat trick. And then he doesn't score for 3, 4, or 5 games, and then he has a hat trick or 4 points in a night. Like he plays in spurts, but if he can have those spurts at the right moments, he could really change this series, I think. I don't know how to do this one. I really don't know. I want to take Anaheim. I do. Something tells me that this Anaheim team is going to knock out the Golden Knights, but it's so hard to bet against Vegas. You know what I mean? Like you're betting against literally the odds makers, you know? I think I'm going to take Anaheim in 7 here. I think Anaheim's going to win this one. I just have a feeling they're going to pull it out. What do you think?
I'm shocked you're going to go against your Golden Knights here. That's crazy.
It wasn't easy.
I honestly, I disagree with you, Zach. I don't think Vegas is going to lose this one in 7. I think they're going to lose in 6.
Okay. So you're taking Vegas or Anaheim as well. Okay.
Yeah. I think the coaching is way better. Joe Quenneville, he's won multiple championships, and I'm not taking anything against Torts. I'm not. But you have a younger team who also has the confidence of we just beat the 2-time Stanley Cup runner-up. Vegas, I mean, you won it a few years ago. But I just really how do I pick against this team? And on top of it too, I am a homer. I really love Joe Quenneville. I love the guy. He's a great coach. I feel like he's going to get every ounce of energy that he can out of his guys. I feel like this Ducks team would have had more fits with the Utah team just because of the way Utah plays.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure Utah was going to end up beating the Knights. I feel like this Ducks team is a better Utah team.
Well, and they're very similar teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're very young, very fast. They move the puck incredibly well. Young superstars everywhere. So I agree with you, and that's why I think I'm leaning towards the Ducks, is because Utah was that close to doing it. And like you said, I feel like this is a better Utah team. So I do think Anaheim's going to end up pulling this out, but I think it's definitely going to go 7. I think this is going to be a brutal series. But I am taking Anaheim. I'm taking them in 7 on this one.
Yeah. Well, just remember the house always wins there, Vegas, but until the house gets taken for everything they got. So I feel like the Ducks are going to come in and take what they can.
Yeah. So little recap here. So you had Carolina over Philly. I had Philly over Carolina. And then we both had Buffalo winning. So you've got Carolina versus Buffalo in the Eastern Conference Finals. I've got Philly versus Buffalo. What are you doing there? Who's going to the Stanley Cup out of the East?
I'm picking with my heart on this one. I want Buffalo, so I'm picking them. I'm not gonna lie or BS to you guys. I logically, I think this is Carolina's year. You finally don't have the Panthers there, but my heart wants the Sabres, so I'm going to give the heart what it wants, and I'm going to say the Sabres win this one.
Okay.
I don't see this game. I don't see that series going any less than 6, but I think it goes to 7, and the Sabres end up winning.
Okay. I've got Philly versus Buffalo. I said Philly. Philadelphia feels like a team of destiny right now. They do, but I think it runs out here. I don't think they get past this Buffalo team. I think Buffalo is more of a team of destiny.
It's going to be Buffalo over for them, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be Buffalo over, yeah. Man, you are on a roll. You get like this every couple episodes.
You got to give the fans what they want.
No, I do, though. I think Buffalo is going to win this thing. I think it's going to go 6 or 7. I agree with you. But I think I'm going to take Buffalo over Philly in 6. If it was Carolina, I would say 7, but I took Philly to beat Carolina, so I'm going to take Buffalo in 6. So we both got Buffalo in the Stanley Cup. We both had Colorado beating Minnesota. We both had Anaheim beating Vegas. So what are you doing there, Colorado and Anaheim? What's that one? Who's winning in how many games?
Well, ducks migrate for winter, so when an avalanche comes, they're going to leave. This one's not going to be pretty. I think the Avs handle business in 5. This is at the end of this series. It's just going to be the Avs. They finally taken out the Wild, which is going to be a really, really hard matchup for them. I feel like everyone else, they're head and shoulders above, and the only team that's going to give them fits is going to be the Wild, and I think the Sabres.
Okay. Well, I'm going to agree with you that Colorado wins it. I think Colorado's going to beat Anaheim, but I think Anaheim is going to give them, I think it's going to go to 6 games. I think Anaheim's going to get 2 of them. They're going to get 1 in Colorado and probably 1 in Anaheim. And it's going to kind of, I think this will be a really good test for Colorado, but more of a good test for Anaheim. This will be a motivating
where they're going to be at.
Right. This will be a very motivating series. Yeah, we lost, but we got to the Western Conference Finals. We got 2 games on the best team on the planet right now, who I'll just tell you right now, I'm taking to win the cup. But this is going to be a really good learning experience for Anaheim. So I kind of just gave you my take. I had Colorado over Buffalo. I'm taking Colorado in 7 in that one. I think that one's going to be one of the best Stanley Cups we've seen in probably 20 years now. I think it's going to be an absolutely great series, but I think this Colorado team is just too much, dude. I think Buffalo gets 3 games on them, but they're just not going to be able to close it out. What do you think there?
I think if this goes to the Stanley Cup and it's going to be the Avs and Buffalo, I think this Avs team is just head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With that said, though, I think Sabres find a way. I think they could do it. If this team goes, I feel like they're the true team of destiny. And if they can get to the Stanley Cup, I'm going to go pick against my own logic, against what I've been saying, but I think Sabres handle business. I think they can get this done in 6. I think that defense, there's going to show up for them, so they're going to be able to snuff out a little bit of the Avs. And I feel like this offense is really going to click. They're going to go to the next level that they have to in order to beat this Avs team. And I will not be surprised if Buffalo's finally hosting something, a trophy of some variety, and breaks the curse over there for all Buffalo fans ever. I think this team could do it. They have to get there, though.
Right.
If they lose to the Canes, it's game over. I honestly believe the Avs are better than everybody else in it. And I do believe that they would be better than the Sabres, but I feel like the Sabres are going to find that next level sandpaper and get as gritty as they can, and they're going to be as nasty as possible. They're going to be checking you on every play. They're going to be making all the hits on the boards. They're going to be doing all the extra work that they have to do to beat this Avalanche team. And I think they're going to push themselves to that limit, and they're going to find that area and really knock it out of the park and end up winning.
Yeah, I would love to say Buffalo, and honestly, even as an Avs fan, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like I've said, I'm more of a players fan than an actual teams fan, but I am a Colorado fan overall, all the leagues. But if Buffalo gets there against Colorado, I will be secretly rooting for Buffalo. I'm going to say it out loud. I know I shouldn't say it. I'm sorry, Colorado fans, if you're listening.
You want me to ship you a jersey or
what? I will be rooting for them because it is cool to see these teams that haven't been there in so long. I really do love an underdog story. Honestly, that is my favorite thing in sports, is watching underdogs finally prevail. Colorado just won a cup a couple years ago. Yes, obviously I would love to see them win another one, but it would be really cool to see this Buffalo team win one. But I just don't see it happening. You know what I mean? It just seems like too big of a mountain. Maybe next year, if they keep this core together and they come back strong and add some more pieces, maybe they could do it then. But it just seems like, I've said it all year and I'm going to stick to it, man. I think this Avs team is just way too much for anyone to handle. Couple closing notes here. I wanted to point a few things out, guys. We do have a post up. We have a poll on our community post page or whatever you call it on YouTube here. Go check that out, guys. Give us a vote on what you guys think. So far, the options are we were asking what made this change happen in Buffalo, and we had a couple options for you to pick. One of them was Tage Thompson's 40 plus goals this year. One of them was Rasmus Dahlin's leadership. One was the Atlantic Division title momentum, and then the other one was the coaching / front office moves. We so far the votes, it's definitely saying Rasmus Dahlin's leadership is the changing factor there. So make sure you guys go check that out. Go check it out. Give us a vote on that.
I'm surprised on that one because I honestly think it's the front office that really changes this team around in a hurry.
So do I. I agree. I thought that one would really win, but man, the people are really liking that Rasmus Dahlin option. So couple other things. Guys, the playoffs are just getting started. This second round is going to be electric. Make sure you guys are watching all these games.
Yeah, it doesn't end till June, so we got a whole nother month of this. It's going to be exceptionally fun hockey.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Check out every game you can. And then another thing I just wanted to say is go find us on other socials. We're on several different platforms. We do all sorts of stuff. It's all under the same name, Nelson Sports Network. Should be pretty easy to find. If you can't, make sure you comment on something or message us or somehow and let us know. We'll get you the links and stuff. But check us out. We want to keep growing this thing. This community that we're building is really starting to come together. We're developing something here, and it's been a lot of fun. We want to really keep this thing going. So I guess I'll say what I say all the time, guys. If you're liking the commentary we're giving you guys, if you're liking the podcast and stuff, please make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell so you get all the notifications. Make sure you turn them all on so you see every time we post a new video, new short, whatever comes out. And then just thanks for watching. We really appreciate the support. We've had a ton of great comments on everything. We like all the comments. We like the criticism. We like the constructive criticism. So let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing, wrong, what you'd like to see more of. And just make sure you're checking us out, subscribe. And we appreciate all the love and support, guys. We appreciate it a lot. So thank you. Have a good night. Make sure you're checking these games out, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.